Hello and welcome to the 6th Dragon Meetup. Not at our usual venue this year. We're not at the Centre for Computing History. We are here at the Cambridge Museum of Technology because the Centre for Computing History is getting a new roof and the roof isn't finished. We are in what's called the top bay, which is a big shed at the top of the museum. So let's take a look inside. I'm here with John Newcombe, also known as Glass TTY on YouTube and other social media. What do we have here?
Well, you said bring a 6809 if I could.
Yeah.
So we brought an Acorn System 3 with the 6809 processor.
Right.
We want the 652E as well, for good measure, but we're using the 6809. And this is kind of a work in progress. We're slowly trying to build a Prestel terminal to kind of emulate the one that was available that Acorn did in the day. I don't think anybody's really got a version of that, so this is kind of a way of trying to recreate that. So we've got a few demo screens. It's early days, but you can see what's going on.
So this is a system what? Sorry?
So this is a System 3.
Yeah.
It's got a floppy disk, although it's a GoTech at the moment, that would normally take a floppy disk, but
Yeah.
while we're developing it, we're on a GoTech. We've got various memory boards in here. This one's not plugged in, but this is a battery-backed one.
Right, okay.
Which is a replica of a Newcombe memory board. The other ones are all replicas of Acorn boards at the time.
Yeah.
The boards themselves came from Chris Hardy, a mix of Chris Hardy and Trevor Hamlet. So a shout out to them because they're just fabulous.
Yeah.
You know, without their efforts, it just wouldn't be this.
So obviously Acorn I associate with the 6502. There's a 6809. Is that an Acorn board?
Yeah, well, yes, Acorn did produce the 6809. I've got the brochure down there, which describes it. I understand that they did do a disk operating system for it, but I don't think we can find that anywhere. It's certainly not in the museum's archive. And
Right.
as far as I know, nobody else has got that. So we've got a cassette-based operating system on here.
Yeah.
But it has got a few routines which will access the disk. So there's
the
more work to do.
potential
That's
of
right,
making
there's
an
more work
operating
to do
system for
to
it.
get this even further. Yeah.
So if anybody out there knows anything more about these 6809 boards and knows what the operating system would have been, we would love to hear from you.
That's right, we're looking for the operating system and we're also looking for Prestel software.
Yeah.
Now I have got one source for that, but the desk, we're concerned about the state of the disk and we don't want to damage it.
So the Prestel software would have run on 6809?
No, I don't think it would. I think it would have run on 6.5. But the 6809 is new to me. I thought it was a bit more interesting, so I thought if I'm going to do it, why not do it differently?
And you've been learning 6809 programming,
Yeah, I
haven't
suppose so, yeah. It's great, I'm enjoying it.
you? Yeah, super. And do you have anything else?
Well, we have a dodgy dragon here. So I brought this because the experts here have been tinkering with this. They're trying to help me solve a problem we've got with this Dragon Plus board, this extra board on the top here, which gives us a better display. It's nearly working, there's a few issues, we're trying to get to the bottom of it. And we've got a weekend to fix this, so that's good.
So hopefully you'll leave with a working Dragon Plus board?
Maybe, but if not, I met a load of people I didn't know, so that's pretty
absolutely.
good. And we've got a couple of disc controllers which we were fiddling with for Tim over there, because he's got one as well, and we were trying to compare them. We managed to get Tim's going.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, unfortunately we've blown up his machine in the process, so although he's got a disc controller, he now hasn't got a machine to use it.
Oh well.
Sorry, Tim. He's still smiling, so it must be alright.
Here now with Tim, and Tim, we've been hearing that we've been trying to fix the floppy controller on your machine, and we might plug it in.
Well, yeah, we got the floppy controller working, which is great because we built it and I couldn't get it. We just did a bit of tuning with John's gear.
Yeah.
It was alright, which is great. But last time I brought a different Dragon to this one, which is the 64 conversion.
Yeah.
So this time I brought along a standard 32 that's had a few upgrades on that are available from Mr. Whitworth.
Yeah.
So this one's got the Dragon PSU on it, so it's got the modern power supply.
Yeah.
Which has the advantage of having a connector for this little board, which is his Super RGB board that gives you a nice clean green screen RGB.
But not for very long.
But not for very long because we've still got a fault. But if you briefly, you can see this a lovely clear Dragon display.
Oh, yeah, just about.
Yeah, there you go. But you should be able to see a lowercase lettering of the word tape. Normally that would be in an inverted black. But because this machine has in it a lowercase board, which is this one here from John, which is replaced with 6847 and actually gives you lowercase letters. So when you do Shift 0, which you should be seeing if I go there, it'll be in a normal Dragon board. If I reset it.
So technically the dragon could have done lowercase.
Yes,
but they just chose
They
to.
didn't have a character set.
Yeah.
So,
they chose to leave it out.
Yeah. And this just puts it back in again, basically.
It's strange.
It is though, yeah, isn't it? Yeah, I'm sure we can fix that, but if we do Shift 0, you can type in all these letters.
You're in the best place to have a broken dragon.
Yeah,
anyway.
exactly.
Absolutely.
So that's our next project, is to
work out what on
fix
earth's
that
going
bit.
on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The other thing this has got, of course, is a Wi-Fi card, so I can
Oh,
actually drop any programs or development work. Just you can browse the contents of the card from the laptop when you're developing. So I've got X-Raw and the cross assemblers and all the rest of the tools on here. And if you want to, you can just map the drive as well and just browse the drive from the laptop. So it's really quick and easy to write software for it.
Although you have to do it really quickly in the milliseconds.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, but I can always put this back to a composite display,
Yes.
and it'll be good. But it's the RGB board. We definitely proved there's something wrong with the RGB board. But it wasn't earlier, but we broke it while we were trying to fix someone else's dragon. So that's the price of experimentation.
Yeah, sadly.
There we go.
But if we look at where the dragon was displaying and then look up just about 3 feet,
Look at it.
who needs a dragon when you've got a pump house like this? Look at this, is lovely.
It is pretty good, isn't it? And of course, it's got a Dragon MMC in it.
Yes.
Which, of course, I'm sure we've seen elsewhere. So, a great little board and the ideal way to use an SD card.
Fantastic. Thanks ever so much, Tim.
That's
Thanks,
right.
mate.
Right, I'll go and fix my machine then.
Well, I'm here with Steve Goodwin, and what do you have in your hand?
I have a thing that reminds me of what my name is. It's the new book, which
Oh, wonderful.
It's crowdfunded through Unbound Publishers over the last year or so, and it's finally out. Well,
It is,
it will
it
be
is.
out very shortly.
When do I get my copy?
Should be any day now. I went down to Swindon last week to sign 680 of these things.
Oh, right, so I've got to sign a
So
copy
my
on that,
hand is
yeah.
actually currently falling off. But I signed them all.
Yeah.
They're all done. So the logistics company now have them. They should be sending them out in due course. There's another warehouse with another 1,000 books in it. They're going on bookshelves.
Right.
The W.H. Smiths have taken it. Waterstones have taken it. Heathers have taken it. That should be out at the end of this
It's
month.
probably the perfect Christmas present, isn't it?
It's a very
Oh,
perfect
yes.
Christmas present. I thought I was meant to be doing the plugs. So yes, it's a good sized book.
I presume the dragon's in there somewhere.
The Dragon's in it quite a bit, because the Dragon was sort of one of my big machines.
Yeah.
My first machine was the ZX81, and that is my very first ZX81.
Oh, lovely. Yes.
It's one of those nice things where everyone complains about the RAM pack wobbling on the ZX81. So I put it on there, and I measured the gap between the RAM pack and the ZX81 to see how much of an angle is there between
Yeah.
the 16K RAM pack and the machine. It's 16 degrees, which of course is a silly coincidence. But I thought, oh, that's great fun. I've got to put that in. So the ZX81 was my first machine, but the Dragon was the one I spent most of my time messing around on.
Yeah.
Because I actually like the processor. I could do so much with that. So the Dragon gets a lot of references in here, and all of them from the music section. I'm talking about audio wave files, basic code. Oh, there's also a program you can type in. This is actually a BBC program, and if you go through the book and you find all these bits, you type them in like you did the old magazines.
Yes.
And you get a game.
Oh, fantastic.
But unlike the games in magazines, this one actually works. If you type this in, it will actually play a game.
I was going to say, is there going to be biro through your book at some stage with like putting what actually works in the...
So there's a bit. In fact, there's a nice. There we go. As used on the Dragon, we've got that.
There we go. Yes.
It also talks about the speed pokes of the Dragon.
Right.
Because I managed to save a program when I was in fast mode.
Oh.
And you save it out to the tape, and it's going at the wrong speed, and you can't load it back.
You can never load it back. No.
So that features in there. So there's a whole load of bits about because one of the supporting things was this is like you pay X amount, you get the book. You pay the X amount, you get the book signed. Another one is I will write a bit about your favourite machine. And do you remember which number the graphics chip in the Dragon is? It's the 6847, isn't it?
Yes.
So if I go to 6847, which is there, 6847.
Yep.
We have a whole section on the Dragon. It's just a short page piece about the machine and bits about it. And both Rebecca Bryan and Jeff Campbell consider this to be their favourite machine, so they get the name in the book as well.
Fantastic.
So and as you've probably noticed, well, you definitely noticed, the book has got little sections with go-to and then a section. So it runs like a choose-your-own-adventure book. So you decide on the version of the computer history you want to do.
Fantastic. I can't wait to receive my copy.
Well, this
Only
is
a few
this
days
is mine.
to wait.
This is mine. This is coming through any time now.
Oh, thank you very much. These are my dragons over here, so I shall quickly talk you through what we've got over here. So, we have different ways of improving the graphics output of a dragon. Not that it needs improving, of course. Yes, it does. So, what we've got here is a Dragon VGA, which is basically a Pi Zero, which sits on the bus, looks for accesses to the video card, and then basically emulates the Dragon's internal graphics processor, pumps it out to VGA, and as you can see here, we have this lovely, crisp, clean display. I would show you it doing more stuff, but unfortunately, the floppy emulator I have for this is currently over with Phill, over the other side being repaired. So
Everything's breaking.
everything's breaking. It's Dragon Meetup, of course it happens. This is probably the peak Dragon that you could have owned in 1985. So this one has a Dragon Plus board in it. The Dragon Plus board basically gives you 80-column text, which is what I've got driving this monitor. But the old graphics processor inside is still here, so that's what's generating the Mandelbrot, showing the Mandelbrot over here. And nice pair of double floppy drives as well.
Yeah, it's quite nice how the Gotex fitted nicely in there as well on this one, isn't it?
Next Dragon over here. Now this Dragon's a bit special. This Dragon has 512k of RAM and is running, basically it's running Unix. So we have, just to show that it is multi-user, we have 2 sessions on it here. So user number 1, user number 2, connected via the dumb terminal and a serial port. So this is a fully functioning Unix system. It's not the fastest Unix system in the world, but it is a fully functioning Unix system.
Fantastic.
And then, finally, we have this machine here with Dragon Plus Electronics Super Sprite board, which is this board here. This board would normally be mounted inside, but I've got it outside just so I can demonstrate what it's doing. And it's basically a MSX2 machine, so we've got all the graphics and audio chips of the MSX2 standard, but instead of being driven by a Z80, it's driven by the 6809 inside the Dragon.
Amazing.
As you can see, so it can, it has sprites and colours and all the other stuff that you wouldn't normally associate with a Dragon. Some very clever people out in Spain have worked out how to convert MSX games to run on the 6809, so we have an example of that here.
Wow.
What we've got over here, I haven't actually got these running, this will be a job for tomorrow, but we have examples of other machines that use the Dragon's processor, the 6809. So we've got this beautiful thing here, which is a Fujitsu FM7 from Japan. We've got a Thomson T08D from France. We have another big Japanese business machine here. And this thing here, this machine here is my little favourite. This is a, oh god, I can't remember who made it. It's a CP400, I think Prologica made it. It's a Brazilian clone of the Coco. Something a Dragon is not. A Dragon is not a clone of the Coco, but this is a clone of a Coco. And this is something, again, I need to get up and running. This is an emulation of a Microbox 2, which is the 6809 based single board computer from the 80s.
Okay. Nice. What's this here for? The the Gakken TV boy.
Alright.
Possibly one of the quirkiest consoles
Yeah,
I've ever seen.
if you look at the graphics on the pictures here, you think, hang on, that's quite green, that's a bit Dragon-like. And indeed, it is very Dragon-like because it shares the same graphics chip that the Dragon has. So the games very much look like Dragon games. And a wonderful, wonderful, quirky little machine, it definitely is. A little bit of bonus are these 3 machines here. This is probably the oldest known Dragon. It is number 202, and we haven't seen one with a lower serial number.
Wow.
So if this is kind of like the first Dragon, this is the last. This is the Spanish Dragon 200. It's basically a Dragon 64 in a nice funky new case. The only difference is the power light there. Apart from that, it is absolutely identical.
It's a beautifully sleek machine though.
It
It's
is
really
a
well
gorgeous little
designed.
machine. Over here we have a Dragon by Tanno. This is an American Dragon, manufactured in New Orleans. They didn't sell very well in America, sadly, but
So is this a 64 again?
it's a 64 indeed. In fact, this came out before the Dragon 64. It's because it's NTSC. It's actually a slightly simpler machine than the Dragon 64. So they made this before they actually made the Dragon 64.
Oh, fantastic. There we go. 3 bonus machines.
This is Phill Harvey-Smith, one of our old timers who's come to all our Dragon meetups. And as you can see, he's the man often repairs our non-functioning machines. And talking of non-functioning things,
MMC cartridges.
yes, how's my MMC cartridge going?
I think it's a firmware issue, and I'm going to get the programmer out and dump a copy of the firmware on my board across to you.
Oh, okay, that's hopefully that does it.
Because there was an upgrade between one of the versions of the firmware where you had to upgrade the firmware for that and that in the right order.
So possibly I didn't do it in the right
didn't do
order.
it in the right
Oh,
order.
it's my fault.
Tut, Tony.
Oh, well. So what else is going on inside this machine? What have we got inside here?
Right. That is basically just an emulation of the Dragon 64 ROM.
Oh, so this is a Dragon 32 upgraded to 64.
Yeah. So if you do.
Oh yeah, there's the blue cursor that tells us it's a Dragon 64.
Right.
Oh, and of course, so this is the ROMs to allow you to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just an RGB video board that's also got character sets. It's a combination of my RGB board and John's character board.
Oh right, yes.
And he's gone back the other way and taken the RGB bit and slimmed that down.
Right.
Which is why it's got the.
I was going to say that's not the right font, or not the.
No, I believe that is the Dragon Alpha font.
Gotcha.
That is an add-on serial port.
Yeah. Because again, Dragon 32 wouldn't have had one.
I had one, yeah. With the little Wi-Fi dongle, so that you can access. You can do.
Yeah.
Like
I got it over online.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I've got the disk image for that here.
Right.
Yeah.
And what's this funky-looking machine to your left here?
That's my clone of the Dragon Professional. Which is even more modified inside.
Let's just get a shot of the actual Professional that it's based on, which is this machine here. So they're pretty darn similar, I think.
Yeah.
It's definitely getting there.
Because I do actually have a Dragon Alpha, but this was a sort of modern recreation, and it's
Wow.
based on the Dragon 32 board. That's just a reduced version of that. It's a RGB board. This implements all the extra the red circuit board implements all the extra circuitry that's or most of the extra circuitry that's in the Dragon Professional. And those are just Gotek floppy emulators.
Okay. Awesome. That's brilliant, though. And as always, I love it when there's a little plastic pot of screws, because these people actually save their screws, unlike some.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you very much, Phil.
No worries.
Thank you. This is Adrian, Binary Dinosaurs, as we also know him, as the t-shirt says. What have we got here today?
Well, I thought I'd book the trend, bring everything that wasn't a dragon,
Yep.
but it's also 6809 power.
So I recognise this. This is the Coco 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fresh out of the, well, fresh 15 years ago out of the shed in Texas.
Right.
Because obviously these weren't sold in the UK.
No, indeed they weren't.
So
That is in lovely condition.
it's never been out of its bag, I don't think.
Really?
I bought two. The other one I've used just to
Yeah.
what it looks like.
Yes.
What does it do differently? Answer, nothing.
Not really. It looks like a dragon. It can do some other things, but
Bright green.
yes. What's this?
This is a 16-way EEPROM programmer.
So you put your destinate
Master in there.
Right.
Yes.
Yes, master.
Master
Master's
was
on,
there,
there we go.
and then you tell it what addresses to do, and then it programs all 16 at the same time. Also 6809 powered, but it's got a full 6809 extra computer underneath it.
Right.
But I haven't really examined too much. But I thought this is perfect to bring because it's
Yeah.
in the right era. It came out of the factory that did the Enterprise 64,
Right.
which is why it says Entcom.
Yeah.
So this was programming ROMs for the Enterprise,
Yeah. Fantastic.
and it just seemed like an ideal thing to bring along.
And
These two,
yes, beasts that they are.
behemoths, are both Positron 9000.
Which isn't your everyday machine, is it?
Well, it's also they're unicorns.
But you now have two unicorns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The 9000, the full 9000 here, is the only one known to exist. And the 900 or 9000/4 that this is a dual processor version of this. But it's one level up because this one works.
Yeah. But this one hopefully will help you get that one working.
Yes.
Can we see the 9000 with the top on? Indeed. Just to see what it was like. And even the top is huge.
It's a,
No, the coffee.
Knock me three off. Stack
I
pull
don't want to
three.
knock your three off.
Worse than knocking your three off. Go on.
what have you asked me?
I imagined it was a simple request, but it turns out
I think that's enough to show that is an enormous computer.
It's even bigger when you realise that that is pretty much the case of the floppy drive module
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
So you've already got this monster on your desk. You put a floppy drive box on top of it, and then the screen on top of that.
It would have been huge.
So was this designed for multi-users as well?
This one, you would think so by the holes in the back and the 8 MMUs, which means you think you could have 4 terminals per MMU, and there's space on the board for 8 MMU. So that's the 24 terminals.
Greetings from
But there's only room for 12 on the back. But it's also a single-use machine in that we believe these were used for Channel 4, or used by Channel 4 for their teletext in 1983.
Oh wow.
Because they have teletext keys. They've got their nice colours, you've got your quarter and three-quarter, you've got your latched keys for the different teletext features like double height and things. And it's also got a full teletext. The whole thing is a teletext terminal. So it's got full teletext display on it. So single use, really. This one was more multi-use, but in this case, it's a single-use machine in a data logger designed by a company called Datapulse, who, like everything else Positron, you can find nothing about them. And Datapulse Exchequer are two very common terms. So I found one mention of this in a book about phone systems that says these screens were produced by the Exchequer from from Datapulse. So this plugged into a PABX using a positron board and logged call duration data, what number was run, that sort of thing. And this is a twin processor board. So it's got two 6809Es on it.
Amazing.
But like I say, this one works. So
Can we see this with the top down as well, just to It's to give an idea of size, because then we can see it with the drives as well.
It's not the yet.
Nice and light, I see.
I've already broken it. Heath Robinson power supply.
Nothing wrong with a bit of heat on the powers.
That was done by me just yesterday.
Don't admit to that.
Fine. I'll admit my sins.
It's all good. There's nothing wrong with that.
Positron floppy board here,
Yep.
as used in the floppy modular. So that's the floppy
Got
modular.
literature here, isn't it? There we go.
Pair of positron drives, but you've also got a dedicated bespoke board here, which is what hooked up to the PABX and controlled all the data logging. That's got its own Z80 on board.
Oh well.
Lots of test labels saying this works. This works.
So these are actual positron drives,
Not bad positron,
but they are the correct
because
ones.
it's a positron board, positron floppy drive. It makes sense to think that they also used floppy drives from positron or bought from.
Yeah.
It's obviously they're just Sugar 96 TPI drives. There's nothing special about them. But what I also got last week was the price list, the manual for both of these. So I now know how they work and how the various bits of software hangs together, which is all
Going a bit recursive there.
extra ammo for getting this one working.
So once you get the manual scanned, that'll be on your website.
Yeah.
And also,
I've already done the ROMs for this, so they can go online.
if anyone's got any knowledge or
So in theory,
anything about the positron at all, to be fair,
basically jump as
please get in touch with Adrian at Binary Dinosaur.
And if you Google it, you're just going to find me and people talking about this machine. Most of which are in this room today.